Hello and welcome, everyone. This is a 60-minute Hatha class, so not the normal of my vinyasa flows. So with Hatha, a little different than vinyasa flow, you're going to see just steadier poses, sometimes maybe longer holds than in the vinyasa, and you're not going to experience all the movement consistently from doing a vinyasa flow, the chaturanga, up dog, downward facing dog, or all this continual movement with your arms. So today I want to just share a little bit about what I recently learned in my 300-hour yoga teacher training, which is this idea that Sthira and Sukha, steadiness and ease, or effort and ease, is a phrase that says the right effort creates ease. And that really resonated for me because I've heard of Sthira and Sukha so much over the 12 years that I've been a teacher and plus that taking yoga, but I had never thought of it as the right effort creates ease. So that's what we want to see here in each of our yoga classes, to not go beyond our edge, but just to the edge that allows our bodies to feel good and not overdoing it. Or not underdoing it, rather, right? And so what else I encourage you to do within a Hatha class, as always, with a vinyasa as well and any others, are to grab your props. Props are so incredibly important because it allows us to have more accessible options for different poses that may not work as well for you and your body today, tomorrow, or at any given time. So just take advantage of your blocks, of your blanket, your straps, and bolsters. And as you see here as well, I have a chair. So we'll just take advantage of as many of these props as we possibly can. And if you don't have those options, then grab some alternatives. Books work well for blocks. Blankets work well for replacing a yoga blanket. Pillows work well for bolsters. Just make sure that the pillow's firm. And straps, you might want to grab a belt. That might help as well. So just take a few moments, grab it. You can put me on pause and then come back and we'll start our sequence. And so let's just go ahead and get started in our meditation. So I'll invite you today to start on your back in Supta Baddha Konasana. So what that is bound ankle pose with the balls of your feet together, taking advantage of your blocks underneath your knees, and then bringing yourself down onto your back. And from here, you may choose to just place both hands over your navel, or you might want to just bring your left hand over your heart, your right hand over your navel. If it feels comfortable for you, go ahead and close your eyes. If it does not feel comfortable to you, then just bring a steady gaze upwards and imagine you're outside watching the clouds pass by, but still being able to be present and listen to the sound of my voice being right here, right now. Just taking some time now to scan your body, starting from your toes, and just watching and imagining that you see a warm light moving from your toes slowly up through the balls of your feet, all the way to your heels, gently warming with joy up through your ankles, your shins, into your knees. And just breathe as you are right here, right now, not trying to change anything about your breath, not trying to change anything about your body or your mind, but notice. Just noticing each body part as that golden warm light moves gently up from your knees, through your quadricep muscles, the large part of your legs, and up to your thighs and your hips. Through the pelvis, those two warm lights from each leg meeting in the middle. And then gently rolling up to the navel, into the heart. Feeling that warmth, feeling that love and joy in presence right here, right now. As you watch that one light become two once more, as they gently touch each shoulder, making their way down to the upper part of your arms and the biceps, and down your elbow to the lower part of your arm and your wrist. And then caressing each finger of your left and your right hand as each of the two beautiful warm lights become five on each side to touch your fingers and all the way to your fingertips. Breathing in through the nose and breathing gently out of the mouth. Maybe open exhale. And then on your next inhale, that five on each hand lights come back as one on each arm to your wrist and back up through the elbows and biceps, shoulder girdle, becoming one at your chest center. And watching with your mind's eye as you inhale, just breathing in as you watch that white or yellowish light gently roll up through your throat and up to the crown of your head. Breathing and being and watching that light now gently work its way out to your halo, that part of your aura surrounding your head. Taking a deep inhale through the nose and an open mouth, sigh it out, exhale. A beautiful breath. And now setting an intention for your practice today. Maybe it's a word or a phrase. Perhaps it's right effort creates ease. Or maybe it's something else that will resonate for you today, both on your yoga mat during the 60 minutes, or perhaps off the mat as well. Go ahead and say it 3 times in your mind's eye as you breathe in and breathe out. Repeating that sankalpa, that intention 2 more times as you inhale and as you exhale. Good, last one. Inhale through the nose and open mouth, sigh it, exhale out. Good, and on your next inhale, allowing your arms to bring your hands together at heart center in Anjali Mudra, prayer-like position. And starting to bring some friction and warmth into your hands, starting slowly, but maybe just working its way a little bit tougher together And maybe a little bit faster to create that friction and warmth. And then place your warm hands on one part of your body that needs this extra love today to seal that intention for your practice. Yeah, beautiful breath. And if your eyes are closed, allowing your eyes to gently flutter open, breathing in and breathing out. Good. And now grabbing your blocks, if you have blocks underneath your knees, just bringing them out of the way. Exhale out. Good. On your next inhale, bringing your knees up. Exhale. And let's just go ahead and windshield wiper our legs side to side, side to side. I don't know about you, but every time I think of windshield wiper, I think of the wheels on the bus and the windshield wipers go swish, swash, swish, swash. This is what happens when you're a mom of a small child. If you don't have a small child, if you have a kid, you probably remember that one. It likes to stay in your head. Just breathe here. And just noticing now how with each windshield wiper movement, you may be feeling a little bit more ease in your lower back. Good. And on your next inhale, just gently allow the knees to lower down into a supine twist here. So just stacking one knee on top of the other. Maybe you bring your hands out to a T. You may choose to keep your knees like this if it feels better to straighten out the leg closest to the ground. You can also do that. Different options here in supine twist. So just find what works best for you and your body. You may choose also to just bring your gaze over your opposite shoulder. So whichever direction your knees are falling into, mine are on the left, so my gaze is going to fall to the right. So just breathe here for another 2 breaths. Inhaling and exhaling. Taking one more breath. Dip it in and allowing it to flow out. Good. And on your next inhale, you're just going to bring those knees into your chest for windbreaker pose or fetal position, whatever you prefer to call it. Some days I just want to call it windbreaker because it makes me laugh. Good. And on your next inhale, you're going to just bring your knees over to the opposite side. So if you took the left first, like I did, you can just bring them over now to the right, extending those arms out to a T and bringing my gaze over my left shoulder. And just breathe and notice. If you've been sitting at a desk for a while, you will probably notice just how much your spine really needs your yoga practice right now. Inhaling and exhaling. We'll take just 2 more here. Breathe it in and breathe it out. Last one, inhale through the nose and open mouth, sigh it, exhale out. Good. And on your next inhale, coming back to that fetal position. Really this time, hug those knees further in. Perhaps bring your knees into your forehead. And just breathe here and notice what's going on for you in your body. Maybe wiggling the toes a bit. Here it's pretty cold this November day. So a little movement can bring a little fire and warmth to the feet. Good. And on your next inhale, you're just going to bring your hands behind your knees. Exhale. And then slowly we're going to just gently rock and roll on the spine. Not rushing at all. Hatha is just a slow practice. Good. And just making your way up into Sukhasana, seated pose. You can look like this on your mat. And then we're going to reach our hands up high to the sky. And on the exhale, we're going to twist it out. So your left hand's going to go to the right knee. Your right arm is going to go behind you. For the sake of just demoing here, I'm going to look towards the center of the room. Just breathing, inhale and exhale. Sipping in that air and letting all of it go on your exhale. And on this final inhale, lengthening your spine, and on the exhale, twisting further open. And just noticing the deepening of this twist. Good. And on your next inhale, you're going to reach those hands up high to the sky. Maybe just take a gaze, and on the exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Good. Just kind of take that to the other side now. Bringing your right hand across your left knee, your left arm behind. Just, about 6 inches or so from your bottom. And just breathe and be here. Detoxifying anything in your body that is not serving you right now through this twist. Letting the stress just melt away. Letting the cortisol that builds up and creates inflammation to melt away. Good. On the inhale, lengthening the spine, and on the exhale, twisting just a little more deeply now. Breathing in and breathing out. Good. And on your next inhale, you're going to reach those hands up high to the sky, maybe taking your gaze up. And on the exhale, bringing your hands to your heart center. At any point in time during this practice, coming back to your intention that you had set, because that intention helps us get through whatever tough things we might be going through inside our bodies, the discomfort that sometimes we might find in our yoga practice when we pay attention to our bodies, but also for the sake of whatever might be happening within our mind and whatever suffering that we are creating for ourselves within our mind. So from here, we're just going to bring our right ear to our right shoulder. We're going to place our hand, opposite hand, to our head. And so what this is going to do is to create kind of a pulling back of your head, like your head wants to go back, but this side wants to go down. So this is going to help to create some strength in your neck. So just breathe here, inhaling and exhaling. Again, just remembering the right effort here. If it doesn't bring you ease, then it's too much. Good. And then on your next inhale, reaching that hand up, bringing it back down, gently relax onto your knee or above the knee. On the next inhale, we're going to do just the opposite side. So the right hand is going to go to just around that part of your head where your temple is. And you're going to try to bring that head back up with the strength of your neck. And with the strength of your head, you're going to try to pull it down. So again, just creating some strength here in your neck. But remembering if it's too much, just back off. Breathing in and breathing out. Good. The dichotomy of things that might feel like they're opposite, they're supporting each other for a greater good. Good. On your next inhale, release. Exhale back down. Inhale, reach those hands up high to the sky, taking your gaze up. And then on the exhale, bringing it to heart center. Maybe even gently bowing the head to your heart. And breathe. Good. On your next inhale, if you've closed your eyes, go ahead and let your eyes flutter open, bringing yourself into your tabletop position. And here in your tabletop position, just go ahead and bring 4 sets of cat and cow. So you can just do it on your own time, your own breath. If you want to follow me, you may. But on the inhale, you can lower your belly and lift the heart. And on the exhale, do just the opposite, letting your forehead come down to the mat and reaching your navel towards your spine. Good. 3 more. 2. 1. Good. And then just making your way into your tabletop position once more. On your next inhale, we're going to reach that left foot back and just allow your ankle to just move, just bringing some circles here with your ankle. And then changing sides. Good. And then letting that foot meet the other side, and then just repeat with your right foot. Maybe you start going up and back first, and then work your way into some ankle rolls towards one side, and then letting them roll towards the other side. Even the slight movement might feel just a little bit like a balance. So just notice what's going on for you here and now. And on your next inhale, let's start to bring some movement now into our hips. So just creating some gentle hip circles in one direction. I'm moving in a clockwise position right now. And I'm now going to move into counterclockwise. So just close your eyes, perhaps, if that feels good for you and it feels safe. And just let those hips roll. Let yourself just feel more into your body when you move. Good. I'm just finding some stillness here. Back in your tabletop position. On your next inhale, you're going to reach your right hand up and your left foot back. Yogi's choice here, as always, decide if it feels better to point your foot or flex the foot. I've found throughout my yoga practice that flexing the foot in these balance poses helps to create a stronger core, which helps me to be more balanced. So just breathe here. We're not moving into a flow by bringing our elbow to our knee, as many of us automatically feel like we should if we're a vinyasa person. But just hold and allow those hips to square off towards your mat. Bring in your gaze just a few inches from the edge of your mat. Good. And then slowly allowing yourself to come down back into your tabletop position. We're going to reach that left hand forward, that right foot back, and breathe and be. Everybody's body is different. My yoga teacher training has a practice where they go into a cadaver lab and they confirm everybody's body that they've looked at is very different. And so we shouldn't be judging ourselves or other people on the mat, and allowing yourself, as Vinny yogis say, and Vinny yoginis say, to Do what feels good for you and your body. Right effort creates ease. Good. And on your next inhale, starting to just bring yourself back into your tabletop position here, breathing and being. And on your next inhale, tucking your toes, making your way up into your first downward facing dog of the day. Pedaling your feet, or as some people like to say, walking your dog. Good. And just feeling all the sensations that this pose brings. And finding some stillness once you feel ready from walking that dog. Bringing your gaze to your navel. And trying to reach your hands more firmly into the mat. Reaching your shoulders further back towards your center line. Good. And on your next inhale, reach your heels high. And on the exhale, walk your feet to your hands at the top of the mat. Exhale out. Inhale, halfway lift. Whatever that halfway lift looks like, maybe it's right beneath the knees with your flat back. Perhaps your hands are on the floor. Whatever it is, just try to get the maximum benefit of this stretch in the backs of your legs. Good. And exhale, forward fold. And in this forward fold, just really submit to the pose, which includes letting all of the effort within your cervical spine, your neck, just relax. Inhaling and exhaling. And on your next inhale, you're going to reverse swan dive your arms up. Slowly but surely. Vertebra by vertebra, reaching up. And on the exhale, you're just going to bring your hands to heart center. Good. And just notice how you might be feeling here, now standing. Good. On your next inhale, you're just going to bring your hands beside you into Tadasana, mountain pose. Good. Breathing in and breathing out. Perhaps bringing your hand to whatever your dominant hand is, to your navel, the opposite hand to your lower back. And just noticing how you're feeling here, tucking in to protect that lower back. And then bringing yourself back to that steady mountain pose. Rooting down through the feet, lifting through the crown of the head, feeling grounded, while also feeling buoyant. Inhale, reaching the hands up high to the sky. And on the exhale, we're going to grab our opposite wrist and reach over into a side stretch. So just noticing the side stretch, if you've reached and grabbed with your left hand to the right, you're going to have a nice stretch here along the right rib cage. On your next inhale, perhaps you bring your gaze up and you straighten up your spine a little bit more through that action. Good. Inhale, release, reach it up. Good. Exhale, swan, dive it down. Good. We're going to come back to the opposite side. No worries, but this time, let's just gently find opposite elbows to opposite hands in this nice forward fold. Breathing in through the nose and breathing out of the mouth. Inhaling and exhaling. Good. And then on your next inhale, just releasing your bind. Good. On the next inhale, this time, bringing your hands all the way through the center line as you reach up with your hands in prayer, and exhale, forward fold into, or rather, Anjali Mudra at heart center. Good. On your next inhale, we're going to do the other side now. So reaching your hands up high to the sky. And this time we're going to reach our right hand to the left. And then reach and create a nice side bend here, all along the left rib cage. And breathe. Inhaling and exhaling. Perhaps if you're looking down, reach your gaze up to open up your heart here and breathe for one breath. Good. Exhale. Good. And then on the next inhale, slowly reaching your hands up. And on the exhale, swan dive it down all the way into your forward fold. Good. And this time in your forward folds, perhaps you bring your palms of your hand underneath your feet and just breathe here for 4 breaths. Noticing the sensations all along the backs of your knees and in your lower back. Just taking 2 more here. Inhale and exhale. Last one. Good. Then on your next inhale, releasing that bind. Good. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Good. On your next inhale, you're going to heel toe your feet a little closer together. We're going to come into our chair pose. So for a little bit of a deeper option around chair pose, perhaps the toes touch here, or maybe they don't. So just play with what feels best for you. Perhaps your toes come off of the mat, a little bit more of an effort, and just notice the sensations being in this pose brings, firing up those quadricep muscles here. Every time I'm in this pose, it reminds me of being in basketball again and training for that in high school. Good. And on your next inhale, making your way up into Samastiti. Good. And breathing. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling out of the mouth. Good. On your next inhale, we're going to bring ourselves back to that chair pose, sinking your hips down. Good. Tucking, really creating that tucking movement. So your navel becomes a little tighter. And breathe. Perhaps you sink a little bit lower this time. For another 2 breaths here in your chair pose. I'm starting to work a little bit of a sweat here. Last one. Good. Exhale. On your next inhale, come into Samastiti, standing up straight and tall with the crown of the head radiating to every point within the room. And smile. Good. On your next inhale, we're going to make our way into a warrior 2 from at the top of our mat. So whereas normally in a vinyasa class, you might just flow, this time we're just going to bring our left foot behind us, checking in to see if the heels are on the same plane here, adjusting as you will, and bending, of course, that right knee. Good. Inhale, reaching the hands up, strong. Sometimes when I'm in need of a power pose and feeling a little not ready for whatever's about to come, after doing this pose in the bathroom, I feel a lot better. So feel strong and steady within your warrior 2. Maybe bring in like we can do it stance here. We're strong. And breathe. Inhaling and exhaling. Knowing that you got this. When times get tough, you can put just enough effort to bring some ease. You're already taking the right step by being here on your mat for your self-care. Good. On your next inhale, reach it forward, and exhale, bring it into extended side angle here and breathe. Perhaps you want to create a little bit deeper of a pose here. So I'm just bringing my left foot slightly back a little more. And you can either remain here in this pose, or if it feels good to go a little bit deeper, you can create a bind. If that's the case, make sure that you're ready for it and you're open. Otherwise, just remain here for 3 more breaths. Breathing in and breathing out, not dumping into this shoulder and into your leg. Last one. Good. On your next inhale, make your way back to your warrior 2. Straightening out that front leg. Exhale. Inhale, we're going to come into Trikonasana, triangle. Grabbing your props. Bringing the floor closer to you if necessary. So just bringing yourself again to, as they like to call it, 2 panes of glass. And just breathe. Inhaling and exhaling. Reaching that back hip up towards the sky. Breathing in and breathing out. Taking one more here. Inhale through the nose and exhale out of the mouth. Good. On your next inhale, bringing yourself into your warrior 2 once more. Exhale. Grab that block. We're going to go into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. If you need the block, use it. If you don't, great. But otherwise, I like to just use it just in case, right? So on your inhale, you're just going to reach that block out and exhale. And then you're going to start kind of walking that back foot up towards the other leg. You're going to start reaching that back foot up. Good. Again, I like to flex the foot. I'm going to keep my gaze towards the block. I'm going to reach my hand up. So you might choose to stay here, or you might bring your gaze upwards. And as you can see, I'm not ready for this one today. Honoring where you are in your practice and being okay with where that is. So maybe your gaze doesn't need to go up. Maybe it just goes straight out. Or maybe it's looking down. So just find what works best and right for you. One more inhale here. Good. And on the exhale, slowly making your way back down to your warrior 2. Good. On your next inhale, bringing your feet to look towards the front of the mat. Exhale out. Good. From here, we're going to just heel toe our feet just a little bit closer together. Exhale, inhale, reach up high to the sky. And on the exhale, bring in goalpost. Good, into our goddess. So breathing in and breathing out. Strengthening those legs here. Inhaling and exhaling. You're doing great. I know this is challenging. We're working it up. We might not think that Hatha is as challenging as vinyasa, but it can be with these longer holds. Good. Inhale, reach it high. Good. And on the exhale, we're going to come into the left side. Warrior 2. Breathing in and breathing out. Feeling strong, feeling confident, knowing that you got this. Good. On your next inhale, you're going to bring that left arm just above the left knee and extend that right arm over your head. And then again, if you're feeling like you're dumping into that arm, check yourself and just breathe here. If you took a bind on the other side, go ahead, but that's only if you're feeling ready for it. If your body feels flexible and limber to do so. My body is not feeling that loose yet. But for the purpose of demonstrating a while ago, I wanted to make sure I gave y'all that opportunity. Good. And on your next inhale, bringing yourself back up. Exhale out to your warrior two. Beautiful. On the next inhale, straighten out that front leg. Exhale, coming into your Trikonasana on this side. Grabbing the block if you have it by, if you need it. Otherwise, just do what works right and well for you here as you really shift the lower part of your body up to your chest, extended towards the sky, while you press your left hand further into your left shin. Breathing in and breathing out. Shining that heart, radiating love for yourself, because we can't love others unless we love ourselves first. Good. On your next inhale, making your way back to your warrior two. Exhale. Inhale, grab that block if you have it. We're coming into our left side for our Ardha Chandrasana half moon pose on this side. Good. So on the inhale, reach that hand out and then exhale. Inhale, starting to walk that right foot up. Spread those toes that are on the mat. Good. Reaching your shoulder on the left side further down and extending that arm out. And just breathe here, finding whatever gaze works well for you in this pose. It's not an easy one. Breathe and be. Keeping your drishti at one center point, your gaze. Breathing in and breathing out. Good, beautiful breath. On your next inhale, lowering that foot down. And then bringing your block back, coming into your warrior two on your left side. Good. On your next inhale, we're going to point our feet towards the front of the mat, or perhaps you're on the back side of the mat, whatever. Just bringing yourself to having your feet look like, I guess you'd call it like a pyramid or a V, reverse V. Good. On the next inhale, reach the hands up high to the sky, tucking the navel into your spine. And on the exhale, let's forward fold all the way down to your mat. And breathe. I'm not trying to rush, just being right here, right now, noticing how your body feels in this forward fold with your legs extended out long. Good. On your next inhale, you're going to walk your hands to your right foot for a nice stretch here. Breathing in and breathing out. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling out of the mouth. Taking one more inhale here. Good. And exhale out. On your next inhale, you're going to walk your hands back to the center of your mat. Exhale. Good. And on the next inhale, walking slowly to your left side, to that left foot, and just stretching out. Anytime we have these forward folds, the objective is not to touch your toes. Rather, the objective is to reach your core and your chest as close to your legs as you can. And breathe. Taking one more inhale here. And exhale out. On the next inhale, walk your hands back to your center for a neutral position here. Inhale, halfway lift, and then exhale, forward fold. Breathing in and breathing out. And one more inhale here. And exhale, let it go. And on the next inhale, you're going to slowly start to shift your feet towards the front of your mat. Bring in your left knee down and then your right knee down. Coming into your tabletop position once more. And then option here to either make your way into your puppy pose, depending on what you want, where you reach your hands out and your chest and your forehead reach down, or so if you want to work your shoulders, or if you want to work your lower back and your hips, and just gently relax into your child's pose. So just choose where you want to be here for the next 4 breaths. Breathing in and breathing out. We're just going to come into our lunar phase of the practice, the cooling down phase. If you've removed any of your socks or anything like that, and you want to start bringing some things to put back on you, you can, or we can do that before Shavasana. Just do what feels right for you in your practice. You want to feel good. Good. And on your next inhale, slowly walking your hands back to your legs for your hero's pose. And breathe and smile. Good. On your next inhale, coming onto your bottom. And then option here to grab your strap. We're going to make our way down onto our backs, lowering slowly down, maybe bringing our bottom to the middle of the mat, and then straightening out our legs as we make it onto our backs. Now, we're not going into Shavasana quite yet. We're almost there. So from here, you want to grab your strap, maybe put it on the balls of your feet. Inhale. And on the exhale, one of 2 options. You're, again, yogi's choice. You can either bring the foot out to the same side, or if you're feeling like you need a little bit more of some twisting action, you can bring the left foot across the other side for a supine twist here. So just choose what works best for you in your body right here, right now. I'm going to remain in the supine and just breathe. Inhaling and exhaling. Breathing in and breathing out. Good. And on your next inhale, we're going to slowly make our way back up from whichever side we are. Good. And then bringing a bent knee here for a half happy baby. Maybe bring in that opposite hand to the hip to keep that opposite hip onto your mat. And just noticing the sensations here. Taking one more inhale here. And on the exhale, you're just going to remove the strap and bring that foot back down to the other side. Good. On your next inhale, you're going to do the same thing other side. Good. Reaching that right foot up high to the sky and either bringing it over to the right side body and remaining here. Again, choosing what feels best and right for you. Or yogini's choice, bring it over to more of a supine across your body. Right foot towards the left, gaze towards the right, and breathe. We're going to take one more inhale here. Exhale out. Good. And on your next inhale, reach that foot back up high to the sky. Reset that pelvis. Good. And on the next exhale, bend that knee for a happy baby, half happy baby. Perhaps bring that opposite hand to your hip to make sure that that left hip is grounded to the floor. And just breathe here for one more breath. Good. On your next inhale, reach that foot up high to the sky. Good. Exhale. Just removing the strap, bringing the foot down. Good. And then on the next inhale, bringing yourself into your version of bridge. So maybe that just looks like having your hands beside your hips and just reaching your hips high. Maybe it's bringing your heels a little bit closer to your bottom, bringing your hands to clasp behind your back, and really reaching those shoulder blades closer towards one another for a deeper back bend here. Inhaling and exhaling. Breathe it in and breathe it out. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling out of the mouth. Good. And then lowering yourself back down to your mat. Bringing yourself into windbreaker or fetal pose. Good, and breathe here. Good, and if you're ready to just move into your Shavasana pose, you can do that. Or if you want to take any final pose, go for it. Option here, if you have a chair, to create some inverting and an inversion. So maybe that looks like bringing your feet up onto your chair. Maybe it's legs up the wall. So just choose what might feel right for you. If reversing the blood flow helps. If it's legs up the wall, then you can also use this as an opportunity for using this as your Shavasana. So just really figure out what works best for you in your body. And breathe. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling out of the mouth. Just remaining here. To allow your body to bring itself into the ease that it needs. You've put in the effort. You've warmed that body, lengthened and strengthened. Now it's time to let go of all effort and just breathe and be. Noticing what might be coming up for you in your Shavasana. Our mind gets so busy when our bodies become inactive. So use this as a period of time to just repeat the sankalpa, that intention that you set for your practice. So that you stay grounded, not only on your mat, but also in your mind. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling out of the mouth. The right effort brought you here. Now ease carries you the rest of the way. Starting to wiggle the fingers and wiggle the toes. Bringing awareness back to the body. And on your next inhale, reaching those hands behind your head and neck, like the biggest stretch of the day. And on that next exhale, bringing yourself back to your fetal position as we started. Making your way onto your favorite side. Tucking your head with your arm. Noticing how you're feeling now compared to how you felt at the beginning of your practice. And with your eyes still closed, just bring yourself up into Sukhasana, easy pose, with your hands in Anjali Mudra at heart center, bowing your head to your heart. May we carry the awareness beyond the mat, remembering that balance isn't found by doing more or less, but by listening deeply to what we need in each moment. The light in me bows to the light in each and every one of you. Namaste. May you breathe, lead, succeed today and always. If you liked this practice, please share it with others as I give it freely to you, so we help become better for ourselves and for one another. Thanks, everyone. Until next time.